What's happening, everybody? So I wanted to talk about something that you might have seen on my Instagram story yesterday. Now, in the last 3 or 4 years of me being on YouTube, I personally have never deleted any comments, whether they were talking about me, whether they were bad-mouthing me, whether they were talking about whatever I was talking about in the video. Any of that stuff, I always left it up. Even if they were trolling me, I went back and forth with the trolls too, just because it's kind of fun. And I also go back and forth with anybody that comments on any of my videos. Now, yesterday was the very first time that I had to delete comments because of something that was being said, and it wasn't nothing negative, but in my eyes it was kind of negative, you know what I mean? So if you guys seen my other video where I talk about Plastisol transfers, there's a lot of people in the comments asking, hey, where'd you buy your transfers? Hey, where should I order transfers? Happens in every video that I post up, and there's a lot of people that know I sell an ebook of all the transfer companies that I use. There are some good people in the comments saying, hey, check out his ebook. I got it, it worked. These are the companies that, you know, I use now because he uses them. Nothing wrong with that. And there's also people in the comments saying, hey, I use this company. This was my experience. This is, you know, the size transfers that I order. Nothing wrong with that also. I have no problem with people sharing companies in the comments because people helping other people, you know what I mean? So there was this one person that was commenting on a lot of those, you know, where should I buy transfers? And they were just saying, hey, you should use this company. Hey, I found this company, you should use this company. There's nothing wrong with that. Then this person started a thread saying, hey, use this company, use this company, use this company. And it was cool. So there's a lot of people in there saying, all right, hey, I'm going to order from this company. What size transfer should I get? What ink formula should I use? What was your experience like? And then at the bottom of this thread, the person says, well, I've never used any of these transfer companies before. I just found the companies and was sharing the information to anybody in the comment. Now, my issue with that is you're going to send people and their hard-earned money to a transfer company that you've never even used before or never even tested out, and you're gonna recommend these companies to these people. What if they get burned? What if the transfers come back and they suck? What if somebody's gonna tie up $100, $150 in transfers and they can't lay that transfer down? That right there is very misleading, and that's why I deleted the comments, because I didn't want anybody to waste their money on ordering transfers from somebody that they seen in the comments saying, hey, use this company, check this company out, and they never even tested that company out before. That shit to me is crazy in itself, you know what I mean? So that's why I stayed away from it. The reason why I deleted the shit, and the reason why I just said, hey, you know what, that's not the way to go about things, and I addressed it on my Instagram story. If you follow me on Big Brando TV, you might have seen the Instagram story and me kind of touching base on it. I wanted to kind of clear it up because I know there's a lot of people that's gonna say he deleted those comments because he doesn't want nobody to know all the Plastisol transfer companies that that person was recommending. That's not it. There's a lot of companies in the comments right now, people saying, hey, I use this company, hey, check out this company. All that stuff is still there. Like, it's not about hoarding all the companies and keeping it a secret. It's basically some people recommending somewhere that they've never even used before, and then it might potentially get somebody to waste money on some transfers that suck. You know what I mean? There's a lot of transfer information out there now. When I first started YouTube, there was no information out there about Plastisol transfers. That's one of the reasons why my channel is what it is because nobody was talking about Plastisol transfers. I took the hit for a lot of people because there's a lot of people that use transfers and didn't want this information out there. I took the hit for that. People was talking shit about me. So be it, you know what I mean? I wanted the information to be out there. Now, 2-3 years later, there's a ton of channels out there talking about Plastisol transfers, which is all good. It's just growing the community, you know what I mean? So there is quality information out there on YouTube, on Google, that you could find on your own. If you're gonna be taking recommendations from somebody in the comments that's never even used it before, be very wary about that, you know what I mean? Because that's kind of crazy. I know that there's a lot of excitement around it. People that are new to transfers or never even knew about this process is like, hey, I just want to know what company so I could order and get my brand rolling and all that stuff. That's fine. Do your research though, you know what I mean? Do not take recommendations and advice from somebody that's never even used the stuff before, because you're just gonna end up wasting your money. My whole channel is based around not wasting money and keeping more money in your pocket to start your brand from home. That's what this whole channel is based around. So I would hate for somebody to waste $100, $150, $200 on some transfers and it come from some company that's just pretty shady or makes a really crappy product, has a really weird hand feel when you press it on. All of that stuff could be very crippling to your business. So be very careful about who you take recommendations from. And I said this in my Instagram post, and I believe this wholeheartedly, and it's, would you take any kind of fitness or health advice from a fat person. If that person is trying to tell you, hey, this is how you lose weight, this is how you get in shape, this is what you should be eating, and this person is out of shape and unhealthy and they're not even taking their own advice, why would you take their advice? That to me is crazy in itself. You know, if a personal trainer is in shape and shredded, obviously you can be like, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. Same goes for these transfers. Look at people's videos, see what they're doing. If they're just trying to sell you something on a company and they're not even using it in the real world, like they don't use it for their brands or nothing, they're just doing a review, take it for what it is. So be very, very careful on who you take recommendations from, companies that you use. I'm not saying you got to use everybody I use. If you didn't want to do that, by all means, you do not have to. If you don't even have the money for my ebook, or $15 for my ebook is going to hurt you and your company, do not buy my shit. Don't shop with me. Don't spend no money with me. Just use Google. Get the free information off of Google. That's all you have to do. You do not have to shop with me. You don't have to read my ebooks. You don't have to invest in my ebook. It's not worth it if $15 is going to hurt you. You know what I mean? And I'm not counting nobody's pockets. If you have the 15 or you don't, I'm saying if the information isn't needed, do not shop with me. You don't even have to buy my ebook. You don't have to do none of that. Go on Google, type in Plastisol Transfer, millions of companies come up. Boom. I curated my list because these are the companies that I use. I've tested a ton of companies and a lot of them been shit. These are the companies that I use personally. Speaking of that, I've been selling this ebook. This is going to turn into some crazy rant video, but I've been selling this ebook for about 3 years. 2017, July 4th is when I started selling the list, which is every single transfer company that I use, that I've found, that I've used in the past, that I've found to be the very best quality with the best prices for myself. That's when I put that ebook live. That's when it was published 3 years ago. Never got one complaint until 2-3 weeks ago. I got a complaint. And the reason being is because one of the transfer companies on the list went out of business. Wildside Transfer, who I used to use to get the really big transfer sheets, like 30 by 50 or 30 by 40, forget the sizing. That company went out of business. And that company's listed in the ebook and they got bought out by another company. I have no control over that. I have no control over who goes out of business, who gets bought out, who goes under, all that stuff. I have no investment in any of these companies. None of the companies on that list pay me. Nobody. There's nobody on there that pays me to even talk about them, to mention them, none of that stuff. I got an email. I'll read it for you word for word just so I don't mess it up. So this person, I'm not going to out this person either because this person's a small business and I'm not here to cripple another small business. All right, so this person buys the ebook, downloads it, reads it, and then sends this email. Says, I received the downloaded link. However, all of the information is not accurate. Wildside is listed as one of the vendors. When you click on the link, another company appears, which is one of the well-known companies that advertises through every social media outlet. Therefore, it is misleading. How will you rectify this? Now, for myself, I read that and I said, oh, this person thinks all the information in my book is inaccurate. That's what she says, right? And then on top of that, how will I rectify this? So I responded back with, rectify, what do you mean? Do you want me to call Wildside, tell them start a new business just for you, right? Because I'm thinking like, well, what the fuck you mean? I'm already on the defense because this person is calling me out and saying that all my information is inaccurate. That one company is the one that went out of business. My solution to her, I said, hey, after I said the whole, do you want me to call Wildside and start a new business? I said, all you have to do if you're looking for big transfer sheets, the reason why you would get a big transfer sheet is so you could gang a ton of designs on that one sheet, right? So my solution to her was, if you wanted to use that same method because you want a ton of designs on one transfer sheet, all you have to do is order 4 separate extra large transfer sheets, 19 by 13s or 19 by 12s or whatever it is. Extra large sheets, order 4 different ones. So you get 100 of this one, 100 of this one, 100 of this one, 100 of this one, right? You have all of these big transfers. It would come out to be hundreds of dollars cheaper than ordering a Wildside transfer at 100 pieces. So I'm offering her a better cost-effective way of doing things, and she's still like, nah, that's not good enough. I want my money back. Because she didn't like the tone or the attitude I gave back in my rebuttal of her first email and the way I responded. Obviously, she didn't like that, so she just wanted her money back. My issue with that is, you already bought the ebook. You got the information out of the ebook. That's the whole reason you buy the ebook, is so you get the information. So it's like if you ordered let's say you bought an album on iTunes, right? So your favorite singer, your favorite rapper just dropped a new album. You get the album, you spend your $12 or whatever albums cost nowadays. You buy it, you listen to it, you have the files on your computer, you got your AirPods in, you listening to the album, and you find out that you only like 3 songs out of the 10 songs that's on this album, right? So now you're like, hey, iTunes, I want my money back. Or you ask the artist, hey, I want my money back because this album ain't what I thought it was gonna be, and I only like 3 songs, so I want my money back because I don't like the rest of the songs. Or it's like if you bought a book, you read the whole book, and then you go to the author or wherever you bought it, Barnes & Noble, and you say, hey, I want my money back because I read this whole book, I don't like the stories, let me get my money back, right? The thing that's crazy to me is this person's a small business, I'm a small business. When you are a small business that's operating like this, you're a customer and you're a business owner at the same exact time, right? You're a customer in the sense of you're buying transfers, you're buying ebooks for information, stuff like that. When you're thinking like a customer, obviously you're thinking customer comes first, I'm a paying customer, I'm right, you're wrong, give me my money back, right? But as a small business owner, you need to understand that that's not how business works. Is the customer isn't always right, and that's for certain. You know what I mean? Maybe just in my business, but the customer is never right in my business. You know what I mean? Because I already know that the customer is just trying to get over because they're protecting their money and their money only. You as a business owner have to protect your business and your business only. Give a fuck about the customer at that point. You know what I mean? So when somebody comes to me and says, hey, all the information in your book is inaccurate, obviously it's not, because there's companies on there that I just ordered a week ago that are still in business, so it's not inaccurate. All the information, there's one company out of all of them. And then I offered the solution, wasn't good enough for this person because she was thinking like a customer and just she's only protecting her money. And I get it, right? I made these ebooks as information for the people, right? I don't get rich off these ebooks. I make my money selling t-shirts. I could take these ebooks offline and say, forget it, and be cool. You know, I could even stop YouTube tomorrow and still be cool, because that's not where my money comes in from. My money comes from selling shirts. I'm providing information to the people that want to do the same exact thing as me. So for people to feel entitled to say, hey, I'm gonna get this information but then ask for a refund after is crazy to me. I believe in karma. As a small business, I would believe in karma too if I were you. It might feel good at the time, right? Like if this person gets the refund, it's cool. It's like, all right, I got the information, I got everything, I got my money back, I got over on this dude. And then what does that say for your business? You know what I mean? So I don't wish no ill vibes, but I do believe in karma. So if this person had that ill intent just to say, I'm gonna buy this ebook, get the information, and then complain about the ebook and get the refund, I believe in karma. I'll let karma do its own thing. With that being said, this was a crazy rant video. The ebook is there for everybody. All my ebooks are there for everybody. If you didn't want to spend the money on it, do not spend the money on it. Plain and simple. Your business will be fine without my ebook. There's a lot of information out on YouTube. There's a ton of channels you can watch that people are talking about transfers openly. So I just wanted to talk about that real quick. I know this was a very, very long rant. So what I'm gonna do is get the day started now, you know what I mean? So I've noticed that I've been getting a lot of questions on YouTube and on Instagram asking, how do I price stuff out when I'm doing custom shirts? This is a question that I get a lot, and I understand there's a lot of people that watch my videos that don't necessarily run their own brand, but do custom shirts for people, and they always want to know if their pricing is overpriced or underpriced. Anytime it comes to pricing, there's no set guidelines that I go by. I don't go by, you know, some sort of rule or some sort of chart or anything like that, because every job is different. The reason I say that is because everybody's labor is different. I don't know how long it takes you to design something. I don't know how long it takes you to weed vinyl and press it. I don't know how long it takes you to just do the whole job. So I always tell people to know what their worth is, what their labor is worth, what their time is worth, what they're sacrificing to do this job. All of that plays a big role in that. And how do you find that out? I always tell people, if you're making a shirt for yourself, time yourself doing it. How long does it take you to design something? How long does it take you to cut it out, weed it out, press it on the shirt? Be very mindful about that stuff, because that plays a big role into the process of your workflow. That's how you're going to find out what what it's gonna take to create a shirt for somebody else by you doing it for yourself first, you know what I mean? Or say if like your brother says, hey man, can you make me a shirt? You don't necessarily have to charge them if you're just starting out. Use it as the practice. Figure out your machine, figure out your process, learn how things work, and you take that data and then say, all right, it took me this long to create my brother's shirt. Now I have a better idea on different designs, different ways of weeding, different ways of being efficient with my time. Now, with that being said, let's say somebody tells you on YouTube, you should charge $20 for a custom shirt. You should charge X amount of dollars for your labor, X amount of dollars for the vinyl you use, X amount of dollars for the blank shirt and your time and all that. By just giving you a blanket number of charge $20, let's just say that that customer comes up to you and says, hey, I need you to design me a t-shirt for my 40th birthday. I just need one shirt made. How much do you charge? And you say, I charge 20 bucks. So then they're like, all right, let's do it. So you spend, let's say, 2 hours designing the shirt, right? You might be thinking, man, that's a long ass time to be designing, but what if you're trying to look for fonts? What if you're trying to design, get the sizing right? All of that stuff comes into play. After you talk to that customer, that's when the clock is ticking. You know what I mean? So let's just say 2 hours to design the shirt. Now you spend your 2 hours doing it. You send it a picture of it to the customer and say, how does this look? And let's say the customer says, nah, I don't like that font, or nah, I don't like the placement of the 40th birthday. Can you do this? Can you change this? Can you do that? So let's just say you spend another hour making those minor changes, and then you hit the customer up like, all right, check this out. Now the customer says, yeah, that looks cool. Let's run it. So you already been into this job for 3 hours already off the bat. You're like, that 3 hours of design time, and that's not actually getting to the shirt yet. Now let's say you gotta press the shirt up, or you gotta go buy the vinyl. Maybe they wanted some kind of glitter that you don't have, so you take time, go out and buy that vinyl. Obviously, you know, that's something that we all do. If we don't have a certain color on hand, we got to go buy it. So let's just say you spend 30 minutes driving to the store, picking up the vinyl you need for the job. You get home, you cut it out, you weed it out, you press it on, and then it's ready to be delivered to the customer. Now you're done, right? Cool, easy call. You hit the customer up like, hey, let's meet up. Here's your shirt. We're good to go. You've spent a total, let's just say 4 hours working on this shirt. Those 4 hours right there, you got paid $5 an hour. Is that worth it to you? Whatever job you do, like if you're working at McDonald's, if you work for UPS, if you work at Chipotle, if you're an accountant, if you work in an office, a secretary, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure you're not making $5 an hour, and you're probably making way more. So that's what I mean by understanding what your worth is, what your time is worth, because a lot of times when we take on these custom jobs, we see the dollar amount, but we don't understand how much work is going to be involved with completing that job. When it comes to pricing and shit like that, for myself, when I talk to the customer, I understand what I'm getting into. And at that point is when I tell the customer, I'm only going to design 2 different variations. I'm only going to do so many revisions for you before it's done. And I would like to get paid up front at least half the money, you know what I mean, to take this job on. There's a lot of things that go into this shit that a lot of people don't think about, because maybe you just got a Cameo or a Cricut cutter and you just getting your feet wet, and obviously you don't want to turn away business. But at that expense of you getting paid $5 an hour, is it really worth it for you to be doing that? That right there is the biggest selling point for myself. I understand how much money I could be making doing something else, so that factors into my labor. If I could be doing marketing for another company, designing for somebody else, I know what I could be getting and how much money I'm leaving on the table. So that's why I charge my labor of whatever money I'm leaving on the table to take on that job. I make sure I'm recouping it somewhere else. I hope this helps some people out. I know this isn't the answer everybody wanted. They just want some kind of chart or some kind of guideline to go by when it comes to price, but everybody's labor is different. Nobody's labor is the same. And I could design something and maybe it only take me 10-15 minutes to do, but somebody else could design it and it might only take them 2 to 5 minutes. When it comes to cutting, weeding, pressing, all that stuff is based on what the cutter's doing, how long it takes you to weed something out, obviously pressing it on the shirt and all that stuff. But you got to remember, are you sacrificing time with your family, with your kids to be doing that? What is that time really worth to you? With that being said, I hope this helps you out. This is how I price stuff out. I hope this triggers something in your brain to understand and really pay attention to what your labor is worth. and figuring out what is gonna, and I'm not saying charge customers $500 for a custom shirt, because that's crazy. But if the job is gonna take you a really long time to do, it's okay to talk that customer out of it, or just turn down the job and be like, you know what? This is beyond my capabilities and I can't do something like that because it's gonna take me 8 hours to do. It's okay to send them somewhere else. Is the dollar amount worth the headache that's gonna come with that job? So for me, if the job is something out of my scope of work that I really can't do, or I'm like, man, I don't wanna sit here and weed this design out for 8 hours or 9 hours or whatever it's gonna take because something's super detailed and your customer doesn't understand the print method that you're going with. So make sure you know what your worth is, what your labor is worth, what your time is worth, and what you're sacrificing, all right? Make it worth your time. Don't just think about the dollar sign, man, because a lot of times, fuck, man, we undersell ourselves when we're doing these types of jobs because we just want to get the job in-house, and we're like, oh shit, an order came in, I'll do whatever it takes to keep this customer happy. Sometimes at the customer's expense, it's not really worth it, you know what I mean? So hopefully this helps you guys out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this vlog for today. I know it was a bit all over the place, but I enjoy doing these vlogs. Kind of cool, you know what I mean? Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yep.